www.alisa.com, and I'm here today to talk to you more about this exciting protocol that I started chatting with you about last week. But before I get into all the science, let's face it, ladies, the proof is in the pudding, and I wanted to share some of my favorite client stories with you. I've worked with thousands of women in 4 continents over the past 8 years, and I've just witnessed the most remarkable transformations, and I really wanted to bring some of those to you today, just so that you know what's possible for you in your health and what's possible for you in your life when you actually start to address your uniquely female form and really honor the fact that you have hormones that are really regulating your experience of reality, and using a food-based protocol to address that on a daily self-care basis. So obviously, many of you probably already know my story, that I was once a sufferer of a condition called polycystic ovarian syndrome. So if you want to picture me almost 15 years ago now, I was 200 pounds. I was covered face, chest, and back with very painful cystic acne. And when I say covered, I mean covered. And you can see my skin now, it's very clear. And of course, I was menstruating only twice a year, which was very difficult, not only for my mood. I was, dealing with lots of depression and fatigue, but of course, just my psyche as a woman. I didn't understand what was wrong with me, and it went 6 years without being diagnosed. And then, of course, when I finally was diagnosed, with my own research hand at that diagnosis, I was told that there was really not much for me to do unless I went the route of taking medication after medication to control things like my period. And then, of course, when I was desiring to have children, I would have to be on other medication. And then, of course, I would be dealing with obesity and diabetes and heart disease, and there'd be drugs for that too. And I just looked at the trajectory of my life with that perspective in mind, and I thought, I am not signing up for that, no thank you. And I decided to heal myself, and I'm happy to report that I have no longer any traces of PCOS in my body, which is really exciting to be able to say. And what's even more exciting to say is that many, many more doctors are getting really excited by the reality that women can actually restore hormonal balance naturally, and they're much more open to it these days than they ever have been, which makes me so, so happy. So I want to share some other stories beyond my own with you about the women that I've worked with. And the first one I want to talk to you about is this woman named Brandy, who is based down in the South, let's say. I don't want to name states. But she was a woman who had PCOS as well, and irregular cycles, and she was on birth control pills for that and had never had her period. So even though she was on the pill, she would still not be menstruating regularly. And in doing the protocol, within the first 3 months, and the program only lasts 4 months. So within the first 3 months, she had her first natural period after 17 years. Okay, so she got off the pill, she was able to menstruate naturally, and since then we've kept track of her, and it's been about 6 months, and she's been menstruating every month ever since, because she's been staying true to the principles that we taught her around how to heal her body and keep it healthy using food as her foundation every day. So that's really an exciting, miraculous story to have her liberated from a medication that wasn't serving her, and also such that she's able to now think about starting a family, which is really exciting for her. Another woman who really this experience transformed me as a counselor, and it was really exciting to watch her go through this process. A woman named Heidi. She was here in the city, 42 years old at the time when we worked together, and she went for her annual gynecological visit, and the doctor, and was perfectly healthy her whole life, no issues with her cycle, everything was, she's a gorgeous woman, and her doctor informed her that she had 2, one on each ovary, cysts on each of the ovaries, okay? And she was frightened at this prospect, because she thought, my goodness, how are these so large and out of nowhere, and what do I do about them? And he told her, well, we can remove them, or we can wait and see. And Heidi, being a very successful, driven New York City gal, decided she'd like to take matters into her own hands and really figure out what she can do to restore her ovarian health. So she came to me, and we worked together, and because she had waited a few months to figure out who to work with, she actually had her follow-up visit with her gynecologist halfway through our program together. And she said, Alisa, what is it that I can expect? And I said, Heidi, let's just hope that you've stopped the boat going in the direction of these ovarian cysts from growing too large. So let's hope they've stopped growing, and we'll continue to work to clear them up. And she said, great, I'm happy with that. She goes in to the doctor's appointment, and I get a phone call that same afternoon. And I hear a woman sort of sniffling in the background, and this man is on the phone, and I think, oh my goodness, is everything okay? And it's Heidi's doctor, and he said, are you the woman who's been treating Heidi for her ovarian cysts naturally? And I said, yes, it's me. Here I am. And he said, I don't know what it is that you've done with her, but we just got off the sonogram table, and the cysts are gone. Gone. He said, I've never seen anything like this. I just saw her 6 months ago. What did you do? And I said, well, that's my secret sauce. I can't share. No, but we had a great conversation, and it was really remarkable for both of us as professionals to see a woman really heal herself. We were just witnessing the experience, and of course, I was very honored to give her the information that allowed her to do that. Another woman who I think had a remarkable transformation was another client of mine, a young woman in her 20s, early 20s. She just moved to the city to become an actress, and nothing was showing up on her blood work, but she had very underactive thyroid. It just wasn't to the point, it's called subclinically low thyroid. It just wasn't to the point where her lab tests were coming back saying clearly and definitively that she needed some sort of thyroid medication. And this was affecting her cycle. She was having 2 periods per month. I mean, 1 is adequate for all of us, and 2 was definitely interfering with her plans to be an actress and all of the auditioning that she had to do, and just having the energy to get out and be active the way that she wanted to be. So we put her through the paces of the protocol, and she started changing her diet, and within 2 to 3 months, this woman had her cycles completely regulated. I have kept in touch with her. She's actually become a dear friend, and it's been at least 6 years now, and she only gets 1 period a month. She's doing really well, and of course she's totally enjoying her acting career, which is the most important reason why you take care of your health as a woman. I mean, it's not exciting enough to just get healthy. It's exciting to get healthy and have your health as a foundation when it comes to your reproductive health, because that allows you to then springboard into living the life of your dreams. And more on that later. Another woman who was dealing with non-specific infertility. She was 32, based out in the West Coast, and she was really, really frustrated. She had been going through the different IVF treatments, and nothing was working, and she was spending thousands of dollars on trying to make a baby, okay? And it wasn't happening. And she reached her wit's end, and she said, you know what, I'm gonna do this naturally. She found Flow Living. She started working with one of our counselors and did the program. And her husband were planning, okay, this will probably take some time, so we'll use the next 8 to 9 months to a year while you're trying to conceive to like save up and get ready. And it turns out that they got pregnant within the first 4 months. And she wrote us a lovely note, and she said, you know, you should tell people that to be careful. It works so well. You might get pregnant before you really are ready. So she's had a healthy baby, and we're really happy for her. And then there's one other category that we treat, which I'd love to share about as well if you have a second to listen a little longer, which is the category of women who are suffering with totally losing their energy and losing their sex drive. And this happens with women in their 20s due to stress, women in their 30s dealing with postpartum recovery, and women in their 40s and beyond dealing with the changes of perimenopause and postmenopause. And this woman that I particularly loved working with, she was a woman in her mid-30s. She had already had several of her children, and she was really just not recovering from an energy standpoint from any of those pregnancies. And she had lost her sex drive. She kind of just felt like she had flatlined in terms of her zest for life. And we addressed this underlying adrenal fatigue, and we're going to talk a lot about that in the 4th video. But for now, just know when I say lack of energy that it goes back to your adrenal gland and its health and functioning. And so we addressed her adrenal fatigue in the program, and using the protocol, using certain foods to actually supercharge and restore that battery pack, if you will, in her body. And she recovered her energy, recovered her sex drive, is now able to enjoy her children and her husband in the way that she desired. And it's really about getting your life back when you get healthy, so she certainly did that. So I wanted to share all these stories with you, ladies, of course, to let you know that it's possible, to give you some inspiration and hope that you can do this for yourself too, because none of this is rocket science. But beyond that, the most important thing that I want you to take away from this video today is not all the excitement that these women had, but just that you know, if you never listen to another one of these videos again, that If you have any of these conditions, be they menstrual in nature, fertility related, or regarding your low energy or sex drive, right? If that's happening in your life, one, you do not have to tolerate that in silence and feeling like you're the only one, because millions of you are dealing with these things all across the planet. We've been hearing from you and working with thousands of you over the past 8 years. And two, that in fact, there is a natural approach that works, that you can use at your discretion, in home, at your pace, every day, to not only heal from these issues so that the suffering goes away, but also so that you can practice this daily self-care every meal, every day for the rest of your life, so that throughout the changes of your life cycle with your hormones, you're navigating that very, very successfully, so that you can do what it is that you're here to do this life. So, in the next video, we're going to get into some science. I'm going to teach you some really interesting things about how your endocrine system works and how your biology works around your hormones. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you next time when we chat. But until then, take very good care of your beautiful, elegantly complex, gorgeous body, and we'll talk again soon.